Namaskar. We are continuing our study of the Nashta Jataka Adhyaya of Vraj Jataka. And today we are going to study the third stanza of this particular chapter. So, in this particular stanza, we are going to go to the next part of the birth time correction or birth time identification, and that is about identification of the month of birth and the Tithi of birth. So let's start. The stanza says, Chandrajna Jivah Parivartaniyah Shukraramandairayane Vilome Dreshkana Bhage Prathame tu Purvo Masanupatascha Tithir Vikalpyah. The meaning is when the ayana doesn't match with the season, the moon, Mercury, and Jupiter shall be exchanged with Venus, Mars, and Saturn, respectively. The first half of the Dreshkana refers to the first month, and the Tithi shall be calculated proportionately. Now let's look at the padas of this stanza. The Chandra means moon, Dnya means Mercury, Jiva means Jupiter, Parivartaniya means interchangeable, Shukra means Venus, Ara means Mars, and Mandai means Saturn. Ayane, half of the year, Vilome means reversed. Dreshkana Bhage, the part of the Dreshkana, Prathame, first, two, but Purva, prior, Maso, month, Anupatascha means by the rule of proportion or by the rule of three, Tithir, the Tithi, and Vikalpya means imagine or calculate. So this is what the padas tell us about this particular stanza. Now let's look at the meaning of it. So in case the ayana doesn't match with the season or the rutu, then seasons in Uttarayana can be exchanged with the seasons in Dakshinayana. For example, Varsha can be exchanged with Vasanta, Sharad can be exchanged with Grishma, and Hemanta can be exchanged with Shishir. Naturally, the vice versa is also true. So, these can be interchanged in case the ayana doesn't match with the season. This is what the first half of the stanza tells us. Now the next question is, okay, we identified the season. Now what about the month? So here they speak about the month. Dreshkana actually refers to the season, and now they say that half of the Dreshkana would be equivalent to a month, which is very natural. So the first half of the Dreshkana out of the Dreshkana is of 10 degrees. So half of it is 5 degrees. So first 5 degrees would be equivalent to the first month, and the other 5 degrees would be equivalent to the second month of the season. So as mentioned in this particular table, Vasanta, the first half is Chaitra and the second half is Vaishakha. Grishma, first half is Jyeshtha and the second half is Ashada. And accordingly, a Dreshkana shall be divided into two parts, the first 5 degrees and the other 5 degrees, and accordingly the months can be assigned to it. Now what do we do next? How to identify the Tithi is the next question in that particular month. How do we identify the Tithi? So Ramirad Acharya says, how do we identify the Tithi? Divide the 5 degrees or half of the Dreshkana into 30 equal parts, or 1 degree into 6 equal parts, so that each part is of 10 minutes, and with the help of that you can identify the Tithi. Here the 10 minutes are not the actual minutes in our minute seconds, but these minutes are in the scale of degrees minute seconds. Okay. Now if we divide 1 degree into 6 parts, then the whole Rashi gets divided into 180 divisions, which is very small. This is probably the smallest division that we have heard till now. 180 divisions of the whole sign. And if we want to convert this into the minutes, seconds, then the one part is equivalent to 40 seconds. So what do they say? What does Varamira say? He says divide 5 degrees into 30 parts, and based on that, in whatever part the ascendant falls, that would identify or that would indicate the Tithi of the Jataka. So by the Anupatascha, by the proportionately, when you divide by the rule of 3, you shall be able to identify the Tithi of the native. This is exactly what is suggested. Now as we are progressing, we are going into minuter details. Now why the Tithi is so important? Because that would tell us there are high chances that in a day the person actually might be born in one particular part of the day, and if you know the Tithi, now you can at least identify if the person is born before certain time or after certain time, because Tithi would change at a particular time in a day, and because of that Tithi is the first thing that would even start us helping in rectification of birth time. Okay, so Tithi is very important, and that's why from here onwards the stanzas going forward are very important even for rectification of birth time. So here we are going to pause today. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe to our channel, share it with your friends and fellow astrologers, and see you next time. Namaskar.